everybody. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, welcome back if you've been here before. So today I am going to do a what's in my basket currently. So this is going to be the decks that I'm going to be working with into the foreseeable future. Originally it was just going to be November, but I have a lot of decks here. So I have a feeling that it's going to last past November. So yeah, I'll just get started. First I'm going to show you the Stunning Tarot by Jonas Ayal. And this is a deck that I had lusted over for quite a while. And when I got it, I just couldn't connect to it. Like I don't know why. I couldn't read it. And it's not so much that I didn't find it beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. As the name says, it's stunning. And I think I just had a hard time translating it over to Rider-Waite-Smith because apparently she bases it on primarily Thoth, and I don't work with that system. But I'm going to give it a shot and try to read it more intuitively if I need to. But it's so beautiful and it's so up my alley. The artwork is. So I'm just, is that upside down? No. So yeah, I think we'll have a good time, getting to know each other. So yeah, that's deck number one. So it'll be a challenge. I know it's going to be a challenge, but I think I'm ready to give it a go. The next deck I have, it is the Tarot of the Holy Spectrum. This is another deck that I had gotten. My husband actually bought it for me. Very wet looking. It's very shiny. My husband actually got it for me to cheer me up. It was when things were really bad with my mom and I was really stressed out, and he just wanted to show his love for me, so he bought me this deck. And at that time, it wasn't a deck that I was called to use at that time, even though I thought it was utterly gorgeous. But I'm ready now, so I'm really looking forward to diving into this deck. I think it's so unique. It's so vibrant, and I don't usually switch my decks according to seasons. Like we just went through Samhain and Halloween and stuff like that, and I attempted this time to try to do that, but generally I don't. Generally it's just whatever is calling to me, and it has nothing to do with the weather or a holiday or anything like that. So yeah, this is a very richly colored deck. And yeah, and I'm looking forward to working with it. I don't do editing, so my apologies. I'm going to be opening and closing boxes because I'm just lazy like that. The next one is the Outgrow Yourself. This is, Akta Schwaman. I think Outgrow Yourself Oracle, and her name is Akta Schwaman, maybe. Apologies if I got it wrong. And this is a deck that I got a while ago. It was kind of an impulse buy. Like, I saw other people reading with it, and I thought, when I originally saw it, I thought it was unattractive, honestly. But the artwork grew on me, and like the titles and how like it's a tarot deck, but it can read like an oracle deck, and that's what I love about it. So let me see if I can bring this closer. So yeah, I thought like the messages were very powerful, but I just haven't taken the time to dive into it much. I've only used it a handful of times. So I'm going to start doing that now. So yeah, that is the Outgrow Yourself Oracle. And get in your box. There we go. The next one is one of my most recent deck items that I bought, and that's the Mausolea Oracle of Souls. And since it's new, I'm going to spend time with it. I used it during a reading, a live reading, a couple weeks ago, and it seemed to work out well. I think it's a very intense deck. It's dark. The messaging isn't necessarily dark, but the artwork is definitely not everyone's cup of tea. But I think it's wonderful. Like, I love this artwork. And I'm hoping to get other decks with similar artwork, like the Angelarium decks. I'd like to get those because it's, I don't know if it's the same. Is it the same? I don't think it's the same artist, but it's similar style. Yeah, the artist for this is Jason Engel. But yeah, there is a variety of different characters, and they're all in like subsets of categories. Like there's like an Egyptian subset, and I think there's like a Brythonic subset. I think Joan of Arc is in here, so I think there's some biblical and Christian people in it as well, which is different than what I usually go for. Usually I shy away from decks that have Christian stuff in it. But it's not over the top. It's not like in your face, and it's myself art, so I was gonna give it a try. Now I've been using this deck for a while now, the Les Vampires, and the artwork is by Jasmine Beckett Griffith, and it's a Lucy Cavendish deck. I think most people have seen it before, and I have been using this specifically. I won't go into super specifics because it's private. But I've been pulling from this deck saying, I'm like, okay, there's something I'm going through, and I have decided to work through this specific issue. And I'm like, I need to remind myself repeatedly why I'm doing this. You know, why I'm going through this hard process to get to where I want to go. I needed reminders. And this deck has been amazing for that. Like, scary amazing for that. Like, I'll pull a card and it's like, shit, yeah, that's a reason. That's a reason that I want to keep going. And so, yeah, so I'm going to continue to do that. And so I'll pull it and then I'll journal about that specific issue in my life. You know, that specific experience in my life. So, that is another deck that's not everyone's cup of tea. A lot of people don't like her artwork, but I love it. And I also have the Alice the Wonderland, and that's coming up next. Like, I've been using this one a while. I have put the Alice the Wonderland away for several months, but I'm pulling it out again. So, and we'll see. We'll see how this goes. I'm not exactly. I didn't pull it out with a specific issue in mind, like with the Les Vampires. But I love the deck. I love Alice in Wonderland and like all the metaphors and just meanings that you can tease out. Even if they weren't supposed to be there originally, you know, you're able to pull out of it so many different nuanced meanings from the story. And this deck is good for drawing attention to some of those topics. So we'll see where this goes. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to use it. I might just start doing daily draws with it and see if it starts speaking to me on some level. Now, one of my newest decks is Tarot of the Huntress, and this is by, I don't know her name, their name. I don't even know if they're a female, so I think it's a female, but either way, it's a deck about Artemis, and it is gorgeous. It is, I think, one of my favorite decks now. And I've never had like favorite decks. Like I never had a soul deck. And I'm not saying that this is a soul deck because I'm not sure that something like that even exists for me. I'm always changing. Like I'm always evolving. And so what might speak to my soul one week or 1 month or 1 year might not the next year, you know? So I can't say that I have a soul deck, but it's gorgeous, and it's piqued my interest in Artemis. I had always seen her as sort of like a tiptoe through the tulips kind of, you know, naturey kind of goddess, but she's not. Like there's a chthonic level, you know, energy to her. There's a wildness. There's um, a fierceness to her that I didn't know existed. I didn't know that was there, and I'm really appreciating that energy. And let's see what else. What else? Yeah, I had never taken an interest in her, and now because of this deck, she's piqued my interest. So there's a few chains of thought in, you know, the Greek mythos about Artemis, and one is she was asexual, so she wasn't interested in pair bonding sexually with anyone. And then there's another story where she falls in love with Orion, and then there's other stories, and don't ask me where they are. It's a mystery to me, the Greek origins of all these different stories about the deities, to be honest. It's embarrassing to say, but I'm ignorant of this information. But there's some stories where she falls in love with women. And so in embracing my bisexuality, that's one way that I'm you know, tuning in to this deck and to Artemis. See what else? Okay. This I never seem to put away, and that is the Ritual Tarot. I have small hands, so it's a bitch. It's a bitch to for me to shuffle. Like it goes everywhere. Like it will fly and slip, and but it's so beautiful and so intense, and I get such good readings from it that I just deal with the ridiculousness of the way I you know, shuffle when I'm using it. I did use it for a public reading event, and I did pretty well. None ended up on the floor, so that was good. I didn't completely embarrass myself. But this deck is absolutely amazing. I've never seen a deck like this before. Like I've seen, and I have some other collage decks. But what's her name? Tierra May. Tierra May is gifted. She's a very, very gifted collage artist. And she obviously put her heart and soul into this deck because it's just gorgeous. Utterly, utterly gorgeous. So, yes. That is the Ritual Tarot. Yeah, and I don't think since I've gotten it, I've put it away. And that was almost a year ago. So I got the Reclaim Oracle, which I do keep out, but I haven't been using it. But I really need to... See, they're flying everywhere. So the Reclaim Oracle by designed Marion Constantine. I think that's the name. But I think this is a really good deck for journaling. If like you really feel like diving into your psyche, but you don't know exactly what to write about, this is a good deck for that. And this was another deck that I wasn't keen on the artwork when I first saw it. I thought it was odd, it was weird, but over time, seeing other people use it, it really grew on me, and now I think it's lovely. I mean, it's lovely artwork. It's unique. It's very unique. But yeah, so like Pride, like if you want to take the light or shadow aspect of Pride, or both, and then you can journal on that. Injustice, if you want to get political, you can do that. Denial, what are you denying, in your life? What denials have you had in the past that you're now coming to own and to see the reality for? It just, and it's a fat deck. So got lots to work with, lots and lots of cards to work with. And that is the Reclaim Oracle. Okay, we're getting down to the last three. So the last three, I've started, if you watched my last video, I've started working with the demon goddess Lilith. And she just came out of the woodwork. So I needed decks to work with her with. And the first one that I grabbed, which is the Witch's Tarot, and that is by Burning Paper Hearts. That's right. His photography is gorgeous. But yeah, she is a very dark, intense goddess. She is a very sexual goddess, and if you'll notice, there's quite a few cards that are nude or near nude. Sorry, I didn't do a nudity warning. But if you come to my channel, I shouldn't have to do it because you're going to see nudity in some deck at some point because I have a lot of decks with nudity in them. And yeah, and like it's just haunting. It's a haunting deck. And I think I could really get to the feminine power behind Lilith. Someone had said to me that she was about unapologetic self-love. And that's an energy that I get from this deck, is just these women bearing all and being themselves and just being their beautiful selves. I do wish there was more variety, more diversity in this deck. Unfortunately, there aren't women with many sizes or ethnicities. It's, I think, if not all white women, it's almost all white women, which is unfortunate. And I know that he came out with a Oracle deck, and I don't know how that stands up in the diversity department. But either way, other than that, I love this deck. It's gorgeous. The other deck that I'm going to work with Lilith with is the Abyssal Tarot. And I've had this for about 2 years, the photography of Shelley Corbett. And I haven't used this in a while, but I'm excited. I'm excited to pull it out again. Again, nudity alert. So like, and this is similar to the Witch's Tarot. It's not quite as dark. There's definitely a richness to it, and I think Lilith has like the red richness, the blood red power, that you can get from these images, and the fluidity and the sensuality and the eroticism. So, and the intense images. There's some intense, maybe uncomfortable images in here about anger, wrath, righteous anger, and I think this deck is really good for tuning into all those aspects of Lilith's energy. So yeah, very excited to dive back into that. It doesn't follow strictly a Rider-Waite-Smith imagery, which made it difficult in the beginning when I first got it. But I'm definitely willing to give it a go. Okay, and now my newest deck, which the box is already broken. After half a day, it broke. But my newest acquisition, which I just got 2 days ago, is the Fallen Angel Oracle. And I had never thought, and I mentioned this in my last video, I never thought I would work with angels. No criticism to people who do. I understand. But being someone who doesn't practice an Abrahamic faith, angels just didn't speak to me. They weren't something that came to me. They just didn't draw me in. But fallen angels, I've started to give some space for, to let that energy and that context, that cultural, religious context that the angels come out of. And it's a gorgeous deck, and each one is the name of a fallen angel. And I like the idea of fallen angels because they're like humans. Whereas the angelic beings that most people work with, they're perfect. They're like these perfect light beings. Whereas, fallen angels are a lot like working with human beings, because some fell because of their shitty behavior. As some people have shitty behavior, and you want to stay away from some of those people, because they're just not good human beings. And then there are some angels that fell because they refused to bow before Adam. They're like, no, I'm not subservient to Adam. And then God tossed them out. And I don't see that as a horrible thing, to not want to be subservient to someone else. So being tossed out for that, those people those angels can have different mixtures of personalities, of some good traits and some not so good traits, just like people. And so they seem more approachable for me. And at least the ones who are gray, or some are pretty decent beings, actually. They're fallen angels. They're considered fallen angels, maybe even demons. And but they help humans. They'll help them through healing. They'll help them through finding knowledge. They'll help them to reconcile with your friends. So if you have a falling out with a friend, some of them will help you reconcile and things like that. They're not as, most of them are not as scary as one might think. And so I'm excited about working with fallen angels, at least the archetypes. At this point, I don't know if they exist or not, to be honest. I don't even know if angels exist. I'm agnostic on this topic. So I'll be working with the archetypal energies of these different angels. Never mind. I ordered a bag for it. It's going in a bag. So, that's all the decks that I have pulled out and have had in my basket. And thank you if you stuck with me this long. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I didn't bore you too much. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited about all these decks. So, and that's good. Like, cause for a while there, I was feeling kind of blah about my tarot and oracle practice, but yeah, I'm excited to dive into these decks. So, you have a good night. Bye.